Hello, and thanks for tuning in to M Compass Media. I'm Finbar Markey. A number of weeks ago, we had two ex-workers from Rehab on our programme talking about the fact that they were let go from Rehab, and Rehab have continued to refuse to pay their redundancy package agreement. The Labour Court has issued a recommendation that they pay those agreements, but they still have not done so. The figure appears to be around €900,000 that's outstanding in those payments. There's been some developments over the last few weeks since we had the guys on a few weeks ago. So we're joined by two more workers that were let go of this 41 workers that are concerned in these matters. David Murphy from Cork and Louise Davis from Limerick. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hi, Finbar. How are you?
How are you, Louise?
Good.
That's good. You both went to the protest this week in Limerick. How did that go?
All right, but Kieran O'Donnell wasn't there even to receive our letter.
Okay, so Kieran O'Donnell is Minister for State that is had gone to deliver a letter to. David, have you any details about exactly what the protest was about last week?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a continuation of the one earlier from there, and there was a very big crowd in Limerick last week, and we got great public support. As Louise says, Finbar wasn't there to receive the letter, but I've no doubt he'll get it in the long term. But we also handed in a letter into the Rehab care and permanent place. And what surprised me, I suppose, and it was a nice surprise, is that, as I said, the amount of public support we got was overwhelming, which was great to see. And it's just a pity to see Rehab shooting themselves in the foot the way they are doing at the moment, turning the whole public against them. You know, at this stage, you would say there's nobody in their corner.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed a lot of developments over the last week. We've had development of that demonstration itself. We have had a motion put to the Seanad by Sinn Féin, which is the Irish Senate for anybody who's looking from outside the country. A motion put to the Seanad compelling Rehab to pay the redundancy. It's €900,000. Rehab can well afford it, according to documents that were put into the course by independent experts. They can well afford to pay it. And you're right, I think most people are in the corner of the workers. And we're just going to have a look at a couple of images of some of those developments in terms of photos of headlines in the newspapers, some stuff from SIPTU and some stuff from Sinn Féin. So we'll just have a look at that now before we come back to David and Louise. So this is from Sinn Féin, and it's about the Seanad call for Rehab Group to honour redundancy deal. Welcomed Senator Paul Gavin. Sinn Féin Senator Paul Gavin has welcomed a united call from all members of the Seanad to Rehab Group management to honour a redundancy agreement from 2 years ago. The agreement relates to 38 vulnerable workers who were made redundant from Rehab Enterprise in Limerick. Just before we even go any further, David, you just wanted to clarify some things about the number of workers, didn't you?
Yeah, I suppose when we're reading a lot, it hones in on the 38 workers, and primarily that is Limerick. You know, the lion's share of the workers were in Limerick. But as well as that, you'll often read 41. And now SIPTU are representing 41 workers. But as well as that, if we look at the report issued by the Labour Court, they go over 50. So there's over 50 in total, and just because we'll say the remainder are part of SIPTU, they're still entitled to their full redundancy. So 50, I suppose, is probably the more accurate figure, or over 50. And anybody that came in after that, again, would still be entitled to the same thing, because the Labour Court, they don't usually confuse themselves or come back with a different story. So it's going to be the same thing for everybody at this stage.
I suppose simply we're really only supposed to represent their own members, but you are calling for all of the workers to get their full package. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, everybody's entitled to it. And I suppose not only that, we also have to bear in mind that Rehab have given a few courses to the ex-employees. Now, I don't know how well they have worked out. I mean, Louise might have more information on this now, but from what I can gather from that is they really weren't very suitable. And so I think they need to go back to the drawing board again and get something that's more suitable, that people can enjoy and learn from. And it's their reason to get out of bed in the morning. Because when you take a job from somebody, it's the whole world is turned upside down. I know, I've been there. But if you take a job from somebody that has a disability, oh boy, means an awful lot more than just a job to those guys.
It's their
So,
life, isn't it?
It's their life, it's their independence, it's their social interaction, it's their routine. And I mean, I saw it in Cork when COVID was on, and I was getting calls every day. When are we back? When are we back? Have you heard anything? No, these lads weren't down pay at the time, but they missed all the other parts of the job.
And that's it. Louise, how long were you working with Rehab?
21 years.
That's a long time. And did you get a bit of a
And
shock?
I was up at 6:10 every morning.
And you were working till what time?
I was working 9 until 5 every evening.
Yeah. And tell me, did you get a shock when they told you your job at Rehab was going?
Oh, I got an awful shock. We had no support.
No support at all. And Louise,
No, none of our families were told to come in the day that we were let go from work.
right, okay. And you could have done
And I
with that
mean, a lot
support.
of them would be vulnerable, not able to cope.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of how that's affected your social life, you must have known all those, but they must have been almost like your family in there, were they?
Like a family, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the demonstration last week was organised by SIPTU, and SIPTU have put out a statement. So we'll have a look at that statement now. The Rehab Enterprise protested in Limerick City this afternoon, Tuesday the 21st of March, and delivered a letter into the Office of Minister for State, Kieran O'Donnell, demanding action to ensure that they get paid their outstanding redundancy entitlements. SIPTU Manufacturing Division organiser Greg Ennis said SIPTU members formerly employed at the Rehab Enterprise Logistics Centre in Raheen, County Limerick, until its closure in 2021, have been left fighting to secure the full redundancy entitlements. And that's really true, isn't it? Because you have been the whole hog, you have gone every possible route you can, you have gone through the Labour court, you have won in the Labour court, and still they refuse to pay. David, do you think that Rehab Group have any justification at all? Can you see any sense in any of their arguments?
No, not at all, Finbar, not at all. I mean, I suppose I could understand that they were trying to pull a stroke, and it hasn't worked. So now it's time to just hold your hand up and say, look, we put our best foot forward. It didn't work. The Labour court have made their decision, and now we need to comply with this. You know, the board of Rehab, I'm sure they're there for the right reasons, and they're very clever people, and they just made a wrong decision. But the wrong part of it now is digging in and can defend that decision when they know it's not working. I was only going through my bits and pieces today from there in preparation for you, and I came across minutes of the internal consultation meeting that I had with the man representing the company. And when I slip over the page, I've highlighted a place that I was advised that it would be a matter of the Labour court that was coming from the man that was representing the company. This is over 2 years ago, the 22nd of February 21. No, they have got their 2 years. We played along, we waited for the decision to be made. If the decision had gone against us, we wouldn't have liked it, but we would have accepted it. The decision was in our favour. We have no need to man up and say, we lost it, and yes, we'll put it right now. And if that doesn't happen very shortly, I think the government needs to step in, because at this stage, it's the tail wagging the dog, as it were. The government needs to step in and say, either you put this right or we'll put it right.
I'm taking a guess, David and Louise, that the Rehab Group have probably spent a significant amount of money trying not to pay you guys, trying not to pay us. And I wouldn't be surprised if very soon they'll reach the level of the amount of money that's actually owed. They'll probably spend trying not to pay you in the first place.
Incredible, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you know, this wouldn't have happened 15 or 20 years ago with the Rehab that was there then. You know, it's changed considerably. Like, and you know, as I say, they do great work, and I hope they do that work. Is so important right into the future. But yes, they are wasting so much money now, and we know they have it. You know, they've played all their cards. The Labour court came out with that they had 20 million in cash or cash equivalents, 54 million in assets. Got 90 million from the government last year of public funding. I mean, come on, like, who are you kidding?
Just Louise again, in terms of where you're at now, How are you feeling now after it's been 2 years since your job is gone? Do you think you've got over it, or are you still upset about it?
Well, I've got over it, but where's the money, like the redundancy?
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to.
We need it. We need it for if we need to go into a home one of the days.
Yeah. Or if you need extra help or extra care or things like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. David, where's this going next? Have you got your ear to the railway tracks? What's coming down the line? You're not stopping, I presume.
Oh, there's no stop where we are from there. We're only getting warmed up. Great bunch, getting more and more motivated by the day, and that group is actually growing. And I know SIP2 are looking at the possibility of industrial action or even strike action, which is a pity if it comes to that. But that'll tell you, like, SIP2 aren't going to give up, and we are not going to give up. You asked Louise there, has she put it behind her? No one can put it behind her until it's finished. And they just can't continue with their lives until it's finished. And it's a shame on Rehab to be dragging people with disabilities and with mobility issues up to Dublin and up to Limerick to walk the streets to protest for what they're entitled to. It's a shame on them.
And Louise does have a very good point there, that this money could be used to give people care into the future when they might need it into the future as well. So that's something that I didn't personally think of, but it is a very good point, Louise.
Yeah.
Guys, any idea when's the next demonstrations, or are you waiting to get word on that?
No, there's been nothing finalised, but there is no shortage of ideas either. No, there's nothing finalised at the moment.
I think sorry for cutting you short, David. I think it's not this week, it's next week we're getting another meeting.
Has that been finalised,
Rehab in Limerick.
Has that been finalised?
I don't know. We'll get a text message.
Okay.
So you're expecting another planning and organising meeting in the next couple of weeks. Well, M-Compass Media is going to, hopefully next week, M-Compass Media is going to keep a close eye in this campaign. We're going to have you guys back. We're going to have other workers on as well. We're going to just try to keep this live, because it is a true saying that you can judge a society by how it treats its most vulnerable. And if we're to allow this to happen now, what are we going to allow into the future? So thanks for joining us, David and Louise, and we'll be speaking to you soon.
Thank you for your time and helping this. Very much appreciated.